Hi, my loves. It's Diane Armitage with Best of Laguna Beach and video and radio here for you today, alive and well at our YouTube channel, as well as Best of Laguna Beach, as well as every podcast in the world. And you can receive each week's audio replay every Wednesday when you subscribe for free to my latest news at bestoflagunabeach.com. All kinds of ways to learn about these amazing people. Here on Best of Laguna Beach, you're hearing my honest, completely objective perspective from a 25-year resident as I talk about the best events and food and cocktails in this town and interview amazing chefs, artists, and more in and around the magical vortex town of Laguna Beach. In fact, that word around is an important one as Best of Laguna is morphing into Best of the Coast. And it couldn't be better timing for my special guest today as we talk California wine. So today I have veteran Hollywood producer and talent agency owner John Ufland returning. He's been in, I think, 2 or 3 shows with me, and you just have so many interesting things to say. I keep begging you to come back and talk to me. So John's newest passion project is called A Second Pour, and I'll let him explain that a little bit more. Then I have Amy Christine here of Holus-Bolus Wines out of Santa Barbara. And Amy and her husband Peter first established Holus-Bolus in 2005 and fully purchased their own vineyard property that they've dubbed Joy Fantastic in 2014. And so I have been doing a lot of reading up on you, Amy. I find you one of the most interesting characters I've come across in a long time.
Oh my.
So before I get into grilling you, I'm going to have John tell me how he first met you.
So I met Amy at the tasting room and was just drawn to her energy and her personality and the wines and everything. And we started talking about the TV show that I was developing about female winemakers. And that led to a myriad of things that we've talked about over the number of months that we've become friends.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, maybe a year now. It's
Yeah.
been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Well, you guys are making a lot of progress on all kinds of professional aspects in just a year's time. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so John, how did you first find Holus-Bolus? I mean, why would you choose that wine out of all the wines that are up in that area?
It was recommended by a couple of people. I know that in speaking with people up there about women winemakers, Amy's name kept coming up regularly from a bunch of different people. But also just hearing, about her wines from people as well. And, you wander around Los Olivos and yes, there's, I don't know how many tasting rooms. Amy, I'm sure has the exact number, but it's a very high number.
It's like 42, 45. It's a lot. It's just 2 streets, right? But we have over 40 tasting rooms in 2 streets.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah.
I've not done all 40 something in one day, by the way.
John, there's 2026 goals are not too late to set.
Okay, so Amy, when John says that you were recommended as sort of this memorable wine, what do you think it is about your wines that make it so memorable?
Oh, God, we're just coming hard right out of.
Well, okay, let me ask you this first. Holus-Bolus is kind of a weird name. I'm a writer. I've been writing all my life. I had to actually look that one up. And so the definition of Holus-Bolus is, kind of lock, stock, and barrel, all in, but sort of in a ruckusy way. So
Yes.
okay. So why don't you give me a little history on why you chose that name first?
Yeah. I mean, I think John could attest to all in a ruckusy way kind of defines who I am, just in general.
Definitely.
But I will say when I first met my husband, I met him in 2004. So yes, our first vintage was in 2005. But we met over kind of spitting over the drains at the Stoltman Winery in Lompoc because my husband was the assistant. Very lots of spit. Yeah. My husband was the assistant winemaker at Stoltman Vineyards from, oh my gosh, 2002, I think, until 2008. And I was working at a restaurant in LA called AOC as a floor sommelier. So I wasn't doing the buying, but we sold the Stoltman wines. And so I came up to Santa Ynez. I'd never been before, with 2 of the servers from the restaurant. And we went to Stoltman and another winery called like Cold Heaven at the time. And we spent the night at Melville and did some crazy stuff in that barrel room. I don't know. It was, I don't even know that they know to this day that we just wandered around that property, but that we weren't supposed to. Peter was not there for that. So anyway, when I met Peter, I remember seeing him and I thought, I wonder if that guy's going to be my husband. It was like a really weird feeling. And I was dating around a lot at that time. We've already had a short discussion of previous boyfriends before we logged on. But I guess when I met him, we both had this shared interest in wine, and he just said, "Why don't we make a wine together?" And I thought we should. And so we made our first vintage just kind of all together, all at once, in a ruckusy way, in like the back corners of Stoltman Winery. Tom Stoltman, just really, really generous. You know, when you're young like that, you need a helping hand to kind of get a start. So that's where Holus-Bolus came from. There's an octopus on the label, which
Yes,
is
I
how
was going to ask
actually,
about that.
yeah, a lot of people, they'll walk by our tasting room and they will come in and taste simply because they love octopi. Is that the plural? They love an octopus. So, but there's 4 arms, and we have 4 arms and 4 legs, and the octopus obviously has these 4 limbs. So it kind of it represents it just being the 2 of us. So there's no one else in the winery except me and Peter. We do everything in the winery. We obviously have help in our vineyard because that's a whole project. But yeah, just the 2 of us. So that's the octopus. That's Holus-Bolus.
Wow, so interesting. So you consider yourselves, you're actually the winemakers. Do you bring in
Yeah, there's no one else.
There's no one else. Because I think of like octopus arms is like really flailing, moving around.
That's the way it feels. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the octopus. That's a great label. So, John, when you were actually there, do you remember which wines were standouts? I mean, do you think they specialize in whites and reds? What do they do?
I've never had an Amy and Peter wine that I have not liked. And I say that completely truthfully, not because she's staring me in the face right now. But yeah, I mean, I actually took my son-in-law up there for a trip, and that's when we first met. And then we went back with some friends a couple months later and just hung out with Amy and drank and talked and just had a great time. So, I mean, it's across the board. They're all very different. The price points are a little bit different based on the label, because she's got, is it 3 labels? Joy Fantastic, Wine Slut, and Holus-Bolus?
Yeah, but we have more. We have Hocus Pocus, Genuine Risk. Amy and Peter made this. And for Santa Barbara County, I started this little side project called Wine Slut about.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Oh, good. We can talk about that. But the idea is like, it's getting so hard to make wines that don't cost $70 in Santa Barbara. I wonder sometimes if when people come to visit, they think, gosh, they're charging an awful lot up here for wine. But the truth is our labor costs are through the roof. No one's making much money up here. We're all doing it because we have a passion for it. But to your point, talking to John about what we make, about 50% of our production is probably Syrah. We also make Pinot Noir and Gamay under the Joy Fantastic label, and a little Chardonnay under Joy Fantastic. And then we make Roussanne as well, and a little Gruner Veltliner now. One of the joys of being in Santa Barbara County as a winemaker is that, from the west side of our appellation from the west closest to the ocean going east, we have just this huge range of climates. So we can grow Pinot Noir and Chardonnay in on one side, and then on the other side of the valley grow Cabernet, and we can grow everything in between, Riesling, like Grenache, Gruner, like I was saying, Gamay. We really can do anything we want. I don't know sometimes for a wine region if that's a blessing or a curse, because in Napa Valley they're known for Cabernet, but in Santa Barbara County we can grow everything. So, I mean, I think it's a blessing. Yeah, lots of options. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a lot of options. Okay, so now you guys got to know each other and talk with each other. And I know from probably meeting John a year and a half ago, he was talking about this TV show that he was going to do. So, and I'm still like, John, I want to work on the show. I want to work on the show. So tell everyone about this cool idea that you came up with and how you got Amy enrolled in this thing.
So during the strikes, I was trying to figure out an idea for like a travelogue show that would be able to fit into an area in the networks or streamers that, one, would also serve as a bridge between seasons of shows, since now we've got episodes that are 8 to 10 episodes, and it could be a year or so before another fresh episodes come. So I used the template of the show called Man in Kilts, which was basically an unscripted spinoff of Outlander. Right. And that's sort of the template for what I wanted to do, a show about women winemakers and distillers. And meet them and learn about them, you know, their challenges, their trials and tribulations, and all that, and then also explore the surrounding areas, because so many of these areas are so beautiful and pristine, and the people are wonderful, which keeps drawing me back. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to shine a light on these areas and all they have to offer, from great food, great wine, great people. It's like you can't go wrong with that.
Right, exactly. And you honed in on women winemakers for this particular
That was that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the show is still, you know, very much in the development stage.
Right.
You know, we have to find the right place, but, you know, tailing into Amy's story, Amy actually wrote a script, which she told me about. And I'm like, I need to read this. And I read it, and we're developing Amy's scripted show about Amy, basically, or loosely based on Amy's life.
Some version of lies around my life.
Yes.
Is what Wineslight is.
So
It's
do
a
you get to be the
complete
character,
lie.
or do you get to choose your character? Like who's going to play you?
Oh, it wouldn't be me. Yeah,
Oh, you
sadly,
sure?
I'm yeah, yes, I'm sure. John has a list. I believe we have probably a Google Doc going of just fabulous actresses that could inhabit this. I love what you said, Diane, about the ruckus part of this. John, I want to add that to the pitch deck. It's like a lady with some ruckus. That kind of defines Amy in this pilot that I've written and with my friend Marcel, and we. It's called Wine Slut is the name of it. It's a scripted rom-com. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's perfect. I love it. And I love your website, wineslut.com. What was
Thank
you say
you.
something at the top about you know, for people who have difficulty sticking to 2 glasses of wine? What's the line you have at the top?
A delightful rebellion for those who occasionally break the 2-glass rule. And by occasionally, I might mean often.
Daily.
Daily.
I think she was really looking for frequently, but okay. I mean, the stories of the tasting room is really hilarious, and it's just this community that, you know, it changes from season to season, from weekend to weekday. You know, there's so much that goes on up there, and the cast of characters. I mean, it's basically sort of Green Acres meets Schitt's Creek is really what it comes down to. I mean, it's just, you know, that's sort of the combination of this show. It's funny as all hell.
Yeah. Well,
you
I mean,
know,
and you think about some of the people that come into tasting rooms. I mean, there's just a cast of characters there as well.
I was just going to say this pilot idea came to me when we opened a tasting room and I started interacting with customers on a regular basis. And so, which we hadn't before 2019, we've been selling our wines wholesale. So we've been making wine for 21 years, but we've only had a tasting room for 6. Wow. So I started this Instagram account called Amy's Tasting Room Diaries. And I just started acting out the customer and myself. And it wasn't really, I didn't want to make fun of people, but maybe I'm making fun of people a little, John. I don't know. It's not that. It's just sometimes I have these interactions where people start drinking and I'm very surprised at some of the things that people say. So the Tasting Room Diaries are 100% real interactions that I've had with people. And then that's sort of where the idea of the pilot kind of spiraled from my Instagram account.
Right. Okay. It's cool. So the pilot and the series is going to be Wine Slut, and then in between the seasons, you're going to have more of the documentary of these women winemakers. Is that kind of how it works?
I mean, in a perfect world, yes, that would be great.
You know, you
live
have
in the dream.
Perfect worlds, John. Yeah, you tend to get things done the way you want things done. So I think there's probably a good chance it's going to happen. Okay, so that's really cool. Okay, so now I know that you're very select about what you do with Second Pour, because you're doing these very creative, curated wine tours that are very small group so that they get the experience with the winemakers. And of course, you can add on more to that. But what made you choose Amy and Peter as part of that thing that you're putting together? And are you putting together a tour with them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the SY trip is February 26th to March 1st.
Right. Okay.
It's 4 winemakers from Santa Ynez, Amy and Peter, Buy and Rice, Dragonette, and Story of Soil, who's Jessica Gasca. So those are the 4 winemakers. There's also an olive oil tasting mixed in there, and there's going to be a welcome dinner at SY Kitchen And then all 4 winemakers will be at the winemaker dinner at Nella, which is in Los Olivos.
And the Nella winemaker dinner is at the end, right?
Yeah, that'll be the Saturday night, caps the week, 3 days off.
That's just crazy. So you got 3 days. Now, we talked about this in a previous episode, and I'll make sure that I flag that in this as well so that people can go back and hear more about that as well. But it's crazy. So it's basically people are just being wined and dined and wined to some more and dined to some more.
Basically, what I did was I took some of the trips that I planned for, our friends. And they're like, we don't even have to think. It's like, we just show up and then everything's laid out for us. We have, tastings, dinner, transportation, all of it. So it's all inclusive minus the hotel. But the hotel, Fest Parker Inn, is giving us a great rate at $100 off a night there. So there's a link on the website to book those rooms during that period.
Okay.
And as far as your question back to Amy and Peter goes, I mean, just becoming friends with them and knowing them, it was like they just bring such great energy. We did a winemaker dinner with them down at Manuela. That went great. It was really a no-brainer. It's like just the energy and the people that they are just made me feel like, I want to be able to be in business with them in some capacity.
Oh, that's great. Wow. And that says something for you and Peter. That is for sure.
That's awesome.
I mean, I'm not here I don't think we're here to pat each other on the back, but I spoke with John on the phone last week, and I just want to, and I'm 52 years old now in my life. I want to work with people I want to work with. I don't want to do things anymore where the other parties aren't committed to what we're doing. And I think John and I when we come at a project, both of us are laser focused and we want to get stuff done. And we want this experience with Second Pour, what appeals to me, Peter and I get asked to be a part of a lot of things. I want to be a part of a premium, unique experience. And John is so great at bringing the right people together to make a perfect experience. So what he's done with the 4 winemakers that are going to be a part of the Santa Ynez Second Pour tour is I'm a master of wine. So when people come to Holus-Bolus for the Second Pour tour, they're going to learn how to taste like a master of wine. And I don't do this with everybody, or when I do, you have to pay me a decent amount of money for it. This is like a premium, I think, experience.
Sure.
So then they're going to go to Jessica Gasca and they're going to do some barrel tasting with her. And at Dragonette, they will also get to visit the winery and meet with the winemaker, which isn't like a normal experience at Dragonette. The winemakers can be present, but they're really going to make an effort to be there themselves. And then Bayan is going to do a blending session with people where people learn how winemakers blend. And these are experiences that you don't walk into a tasting room and get those. So that's what I want to be a part of in my life moving forward, and meeting consumers who want those experiences.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because they're so special. Yeah.
Well, and then they become your friends as well. I mean,
absolutely.
Then you become lifelong friends. It's really cool. And then they bring their friends, et cetera, et cetera. So it really is, it's a win-win for everybody. And
John and I want to be friends with everyone in Laguna Beach.
Well, you're making a good headway here.
You're making good headway.
You're starting with me. I already like you guys.
I love it. I love it.
Okay. So now I have to ask you, Amy, what were you doing before you were working with a wine company. What was the name of the wine company?
So I worked for a couple. So when I moved to LA, my intent was to be an actress, right? I wanted to act. And so through that, I started working in restaurants, and then you get tired of the restaurant scene. And so I started selling wine. We would call it dragging the bag, selling, working for a French wine importer. I worked for a company called Veritas Imports for 7 years, and then another company, a pretty famous one called Kermit Lynch Imports. And so we sold French and Italian wine. And then I left Kermit, right after the pandemic. After we opened the tasting room, I was like, I think I can now focus on my winery full time. 17 years before that, I was holding down both. I was at the winery, but also had another job. So that's just the state of being a small wine producer, and trying to get paid.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
What actually got you interested in wine before you decided to declare yourself a wine slut?
Well, So because I was doing some acting and needed a restaurant job, but I'm also, I don't know I'm a bit of a nerd. I'm kind of an academic-y, nerdy type. So I didn't want to just be waiting tables. And so wine is such a complex subject. I would say it might be, I mean, I would say it is the most complex beverage on the planet and maybe even in the food and wine world. And so when I started to see how much there was to learn, I just got into books, dove right in, applied for the Master of Wine program. That took me, I studied for 7 years to pass that exam.
Wow.
I finally did in 2013. So it was just really a matter of, honestly, it was like a hobby in the beginning, giving me something to do when I didn't have like a Tidy Bowl commercial to shoot. You know, so that was where it started. It never intended to go this way. But you guys know how life goes. Sometimes people walk into the tasting room and say, how did you get here? This was the idea for the pilot, actually. So many people saying, how did you get here?
Right.
And it's just one thing. One day goes into the next, and suddenly you wake up and you've been making wine for 20 years. I don't know.
It's kind of the way it goes. It's absolutely the way it goes. Yeah. Okay. Now, you're also doing a separate dinner down here in Lido, right, John?
Correct. At
Okay,
Fable and Spirit.
Yeah. So when can you explain that a little bit more?
So I've been, going to Fable and Spirit for quite a while, and
Fantastic restaurant.
we had dinner there with my daughter and my son-in-law one night, and I noticed something on the wine list that I'd never seen before, which was, it's something that Rabbit. I can't remember the name of it. I wish I could remember it, but they basically do a by the glass pour of a mystery wine, one red and one white. And if you guess it, you get the glass free. So we got very competitive one night between the four of us trying to figure out what this wine was, and none of us got it right. But I love the idea that they were making this sort of a game and fun and exciting. And I became friendly with Allie Coyle, who's the daughter of the family that owns Fable and Spirit. And we started talking about doing winemaker dinners, and she immediately went, I love Holus-Bolus. I want to do this with Holus-Bolus. I'm like, perfect.
Nice.
So we set it up for March 25th, which is a Wednesday night. At this point, that's all the information that we have. I'm waiting for Allie to get me all the final information, but it'll be that night at Fable and Spirit.
Yeah, they are fantastic. I mean, for people who are listening and you're all of my foodie fans, I'm sure many of you have tried Fable and Spirit, but if you haven't, you need to get up there because it just is, it's phenomenal food, and it's been consistent for years and years as one of the top restaurant choices in the Newport Beach area. So very cool. Very cool. And that's on March 25th. So now are you coming down for that, Amy?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
We did another winemaker dinner with John was saying earlier at Manuela in downtown LA. It's sold out. I don't know, we had 25, 30 people there, which that might not sound like a lot, but for a winemaker dinner, that is an extraordinary number of people. Usually they're between 12 to 15 would be a lot. So we had a lot of interest. Peter and I have a lot of wine club members in Orange County, a lot in Laguna. And so, I can't wait to send this out to them and to give them an opportunity to put Fable and Spirit with Holus-Bolus together. We're thrilled about it. And yes, I will be there. Peter will be there.
I wonder how many they'll allow there, because I would think that you could actually sell more than 25 or 30 if they had the space for it.
It's if I remember correctly, it's when you walk in the front door, there's a room to the far right. So they're going to, I think, use that as the space. I think we're talking again about 20 to 25 max.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's going to
and it keeps it intimate.
Hours.
Yeah.
Wow, that's going to be great. Okay, so you've got the tour that's coming up at the end of February. You've got the dinner that's happening March. You've got the pilot that you're going to start working on when?
The pilot's written.
Yeah,
it's done.
It's out.
What's the next step?
It's out to producers and production companies now.
Okay, and how's that going?
We're waiting for feedback. I literally sent it out to a bunch of places yesterday.
That's fantastic. I love it. Outside. And so when you actually did the pilot, Did you, or when you start sending out the pilot, do you also talk to the documentary that falls between the seasons, or is it just the pilot, just for Wine Sled?
Right now, it's just the pilot, just the scripted version.
So we've got the inside track on what really he has planned. The master planner has in mind. It's awesome.
There's a plan.
It's so much fun. So, so the Instagram that you have that you said is your tasting room. Can you say what that name is again?
Sure. Amy's _ tasting _ room _ diaries.
Okay. Got that,
Amy's
everybody?
tasting room diaries.
And we'll-
Yeah.
Put it in the show notes too, so that you guys are all clear on that. So we had also talked about some discounts for some of the Best of Laguna Beach readers and listeners. So Amy, I think you had come up with something, so I'm going to start with you first.
Yes. So if you go on our website, which is Holus-Bolus and you can kind of look at what we have, you add some stuff to your basket. The discount code would be second pour 10, and you get 10% off. We would, we would love for people to explore our wines.
So second pour and then the number 10, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
For 10% off.
Right.
And that's what we actually have been offering with the other wineries that we are getting involved with the other winemakers. And so folks, if you haven't taken advantage of those others, they're still there as well. Okay, now, and at the beginning of this, when we were kind of talking offline, John, you had mentioned something about your tours that you were going to offer.
Correct. So we're going to offer 10% off the tour prices to Best of Laguna listeners, and that'll be Laguna 10.
Love it. I love it when I get my Laguna name in there. That's just so well, this has been so much fun. I just think that it's amazing that you guys have managed to put all of this together in just the year's time that you've known each other. And okay, so I do have one other question, Amy. So your husband, is he high energy like you, or is he kind of like the yin and yang?
Yeah, yin and yang, yeah.
That's what I kind of figured.
Yep. Peter's like this. I know I always try to talk slower because I talk really fast. I can't control myself. Peter is very even keeled. Yeah.
And so one other quick question, when you were doing the spit thing and met each other at the winery, what was it that actually led to the date?
I was okay. Because now I'm going to sound really calculating. I didn't mean it to be that way. So I thought he was super cute. We talked in the parking lot. I kind of asked, oh yeah, so something about a girlfriend. He was like, oh, I'm not dating anyone. And I was like, bingo. So I went back to LA, and with the two friends that I had gone up there with, we wrote a thank you note to Peter and Sashi Morman, who was the head winemaker at Stoltman at the time. And we just said, we so enjoyed our trip. And I wrote first, my friend Shelly wrote second, and my friend Tom wrote last. And all he wrote was, Peter, you might want to follow up on this. And he didn't tell me this, and he mailed the thank you note. And so one day I'm standing behind the bar at AOC restaurant, and this guy, it was a really rainy night. Do you guys remember back in like 2005 in Laurel Canyon, it rained so much, houses were like falling off the sides of the hills. So it was one of those torrential downpours. AOC had not been open that long, and we were packed all the time. But this night there was no one there, and it was dumping. And I see these two figures walk in the door, and one of them is like so cute. And then I go, but God, that guy looks familiar. And he sits down at the bar, and I was like, do we know each other? And he was like, Peter from Stoltman. And I was like, that's what, you came in here? And he was like, yeah, Tom told me that. And anyway, we had this thing. And so then he asked me out on a date, but I didn't know that he was going to be at the bar that night. So it was all because of my friend, Tom Hunter. And he was in my wedding, and I still had that, Peter still had the card. And so he read the card at our wedding.
Oh, that's awesome.
Got us together. Yeah. Sorry, too long of a story. Too long of a story.
That's awesome. I bet you didn't know that, did you, John?
I had not heard that story, actually. It's quite funny and very clever.
The things you learn about Amy. Well, this has really been fun, guys. I really have appreciated this. Everybody, you're going to get the show notes on this, so you're going to get all the discounts and everything there. But I mean, really consider the experiences that you want to have in 2026. This is the important thing, the experiences. And John is really coming up with these amazing curated tours that are just so amazing for anybody who wants to learn more about wine or thinks that they're very proficient in wine. this is just a perfect opportunity to be in that small group of people who have a passion for wine and want to know more about the backstory and the winemakers behind that story. So I think it's just perfect as you begin to plan your year ahead. Plan on the wine tours, plan on the winemakers dinner in Lido, and let's make it a really fun time of drinking maybe more than 2 glasses of wine a day. Any closing remarks, folks?
Sign up on the website. Spaces are limited. We're talking 8 to 10 people max for each event, Willamette and SY, and hope to be able to share the magic of both valleys with you.
Love it. That's perfect.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
And I promise we'll have a great time. We're going to have a great time.
I have absolutely no doubts. With you at the helm, I have no doubts, Amy.
Thank you, Tina.
All right, folks, we're going to sign off here, and I will see you back at Best of Laguna Beach. Look for this in all of your favorite podcast and YouTube station stuff, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.